Good afternoon and warm welcome to everyone. With great pleasure, I welcome the distinguished dignitaries from UCO Bank and the honorable participants. Friends, exporters are currently facing several challenges. There are challenges related to foreign exchange risk management and liquidity. Government of India has announced several measures through which some support is extended to manage liquidity issues, but issues related to foreign exchange risk is still a matter of concern. The objective of today's video conference is to understand the aspects related to foreign exchange risk management in general and booking of forward contracts in specific. Taking forward, now I request Sri Sushil Patwari ji, Regional Chairman, FIO, Eastern Region, to give his welcome address. Sushil Patwari, sir.
International Division, UCO Bank, Kolkata. Sri Ashwani Kumar ji, Deputy General Manager, International Banking Division, UCO Bank, and exporter friends. It's our pleasure to welcome you all at today's web interaction on forward contract. On behalf of FIO Eastern Region, we extend our sincere thanks to Sri Shankar Narayan, General Manager, and Sri Ashwani Kumar, Deputy General Manager, for accepting our request and making themselves available for addressing this session for the benefit of the EXIM community. In the simplest of terms, forward contract can be defined as an agreement reached between two parties for executing a buy and sell arrangement at a later date specified on a prefixed rate to set off future risk pertaining to currency and market volatility. Such agreements can be done in terms of both delivery and currency settlements. However, this goes beyond, the subject goes beyond such simple definitions and calls for wider discussions, understanding, and analysis. In today's world of high volatility, the dynamics of international trade are constantly changing with its shares of complexity, challenges, and risk, which is prevalent more so under the current situation. So it is imperative to make judicious use of mechanism under Indian banking framework to counter and mitigate various forms of risk of credit, market, liquidity, etc. We must understand this risk extensively and how to hedge the foreign currency payable and receivable. We should understand both the consequences of the contract making so that later on we should not repent that we did a wrong decision. I hope members of trade and exporters who are present today will be immensely benefited and enlightened on this topic from our distinguished speakers, and they are also welcome to come up with their queries, suggestions, and proposals to deliberate on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving us a good insights on the meaning and definition of forward contract and how we are going to take meeting further. Before taking forward, I request all the participants who would like to raise their queries during this session. There is a raise hand icon on the bottom of your screen, which you can use, and we will be able to accommodate your queries during the question and answer session. I request all the participants to use raise hand icon, which is right on the bottom of your screen. Taking forward, now I request Shri Shankar Narayanan V, General Manager IBD, UCO Bank, to address the participants.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Mr. Rishika. And thank you, Patwari ji, for setting the tone. I will make this session a brief speech by me, and thereafter commentary questions, mostly practical oriented rather than just a theoretical side one-way traffic. So I would like to make the session lively with interactions with you people as well. After the brief kind of insight I can draw upon the latest guidelines. I am being joined by Mr. Ashwini, who is the Deputy General Manager at the International Division of UCO Bank. Also along with me is Mr. Rakesh Dani, who is the AGM. Mr. Fahi Muhammad, actually he is the person who is handling the grandees. And Mr. Shailesh Sahu and Chief Manager, both are Chief Managers, Fahi and Shailesh Sahu are Chief Managers. And also Mr. Satish, who is a Senior Manager. Now, coming to the guidelines, as you know that the Reserve Bank of India has issued latest guidelines on risk management, interbank dealings, hedging of foreign exchange risk. The circular is APDIR circular number 29. It is dated 7th of April 2020. It is going to be effective from 1st September 2020. Now, what is the drastic change they have made? Let me just give you some points. See, earlier the circular, which was issued in July 5, 2016, Master Direction Risk Management Interbank Dealings. That was what we have been following. It is a 100-page circular. Now the present circular, if you notice, it is hardly 9 pages. Now what does it mean? It means that Reserve Bank of India is moving from a prescriptive approach to a principle-based approach. If you have been noticing, that is prior to FEMA, we were having the FERA regulation, which was highly prescriptive in nature. Then there came FEMA. FEMA put things into a much simpler perspective in terms of 2 dimensions. It told that you have to only see 2 things. Whether the transaction is a current account transaction or a capital account transaction. If the transaction is a current account transaction, it is permissible unless it is prohibited. If the transaction is a capital account transaction, it is prohibited unless it is permitted. Now, let us try to understand the difference, because I know all are exporters. So you have been in the industry for quite a long time, but still, just to give a brief understanding of this. Now, what is a current account transaction? Whatever exports you are doing is a current account transaction, because you are sending goods and the dollar is coming in. Whatever the dollar that has come in, you need not have to repay. It has not created any liability to you. That dollar is your own. That transaction is a current account, trade transaction. It is a current account transaction. So as per FEMA, current account transactions are permissible unless it is prohibited. Similarly, in the case of imports, what happens? You are shelling out dollars, and for which goods are coming in. But that dollar is not going to come back to you. It is not something like what we call that has not created any asset, or you will not get back the dollar. It is like an expense. So this transaction has not created any assets, so it is a current account transaction. Transactions which generally create liabilities and assets, like an NRI deposit is coming into the country, that is created liability for the country. That is a capital account transaction. A company is raising external commercial borrowing, that's a capital account transaction, because company is borrowing dollars. So there is a distinction based on transaction, current account and capital account. And as per FEMA, current account transaction, you not have to worry. If you see that a transaction, if you see the transaction is a current account, then no questions asked. It is permitted unless specifically it is prohibited by RBI. On the other hand, if there is a capital account transaction, suppose you want to borrow dollars abroad, then you have to see the guideline whether you are permitted to do the transaction as per FEMA. So from the FERA approach, we move towards FEMA, where current account transactions are fully convertible or can be undertaken. Now again, RBI is moving, it seems, towards capital account convertibility. By the way, they have actually come out with this circular. They are further liberalizing. And not only that, they are giving greater degree of freedom to authorized dealers. Earlier, authorized dealers, earlier everything was controlled by RBI. Later on, authorized dealers were given some discretion. Now, the degree of freedom that is given to authorized dealers, it is slowly increasing. That is why actually from a 100-page circular, now the circular has got reduced to 9 pages. Now, very quickly, let me tell you actually what the dispensations are. See, earlier dispensation, if you see, the resident Indians, the residents were allowed to go for contracted exposures, they exposure based on past performance. Then there were exposures where some special dispensations were given. Where in which case, in the special dispensation case, small amount, usually 1 million, you have on a basis of declaration of underlying, you can book on forward contract. Contracted exposures where there is where you can show an underlying exposure, then you can book the contract with the authorized dealer. Probable exposure was based on turnover. Now all those things are gone. I will not say fully gone, but there are some liberalized approaches now with the latest guideline. To be very quick, actually, we will come to the specific directions, but in order to just have a summary that there is a takeaway, it is mentioned that up to $10 million outstanding, based on a declaration, you can book contract. Earlier, I am telling you it was $1 million. Now, up to $10 million outstanding, a declaration is required. AD should be satisfied. A declaration should be required from the exporter or importer. And based on that declaration, up to $10 million outstanding contracts can be booked. This is across the banks. Okay, this is not suppose you book it with one bank, again you go to another bank and book 10 million. No. The limit is across the bank. Up to $10 million you can utilize this. Now, how the banks will have a mechanism, that will come later on. How we can actually see whether, with this $10 million across the banking industry, how it will work. That will come later on. Now, apart from that, you can also book contracts based on anticipated exposure. This anticipated exposure is just like past performance only. But earlier there was a prescriptive approach. They were telling past performance how we will decide. There was various approaches like last year turnover, average turnover, all those things you have to see. A lot of prescriptions were there. They have done away with all these things. They have left to the authorized dealer to decide. Suppose an exporter is coming for booking a forward contract based on anticipated exporter, what are the documents that should be taken? How the AD will decide that, how the AD will become satisfied that this exposure is existing, this exposure can be booked for the exporter or not, the AD will decide. So that is given to the, or discretion is given to the authorized dealer. Then you can also book contract based on contracted exposure. Suppose you are engaged in a contract with your counterparty, based on that, you can book forward contract. Now, what is the advantage of having a contract booked on contracted exposure? The advantage is that when you are having a contracted exposure, and if the AD is satisfied at the time of cancellation, if there is any gain, it can be passed on, provided it is a contracted exposure. And if the AD is satisfied, that it is not speculation. So, lot of things depends on the authorized dealer, how exactly he can get satisfied based on your past contract, but you are not speculating, but actually there is an underlying exposure which is getting cancelled. In the case of contracted exposure, this is the advantage. In the case of anticipated exposure, if you are booking a contract, then the gain can be passed only when the cash flow happens. When the cash flow will happen, either there should be a delivery of dollar or delivery of document, in which case only you will be able to enjoy the gain in the contract. You can cancel and rebook any number of times. There is no challenge. But any gain will be paid to you only at the time of underlying cash flow. That is the difference in the anticipated exposure. So you can go to the authorized dealer, have your exposure booked. Authorized dealer can also become satisfied based on your past conduct, based on your turnover, and he can assess that, okay, this anticipated exposure is well within your what you call limit, or well, you can do it. But even then, actually, when you are doing a cancellation, gain will not be passed. Gain will be passed based on when the underlying happens, when the underlying cash flow happens. So that is basically the difference. Now, another liberalization which they have done is actually, so again I am repeating, up to $10 million, you can go and declare to the authorized dealer and have your contract book based on a declaration. Authorized dealer can book the contract. You can also have the option of booking contracts through anticipated exposure, depending upon the satisfaction level of the authorized dealer. You can also book contract based on contracted exposure. And another important thing also, this time they have given, up to 100 million US dollar, you can book contracts through exchange, currency futures exchange. There you need not have underlying even. You should know the difference. In the case of 10 million US dollar, you have to declare that there should be an underlying. Whereas in the case of contracts booked to currency futures, up to US dollar 100 million, you can book even without exposure. Nothing will be asked regarding exposure. But if you are booking more than US dollar 100 million, then you have to tell the exchange, you have to nominate one authorized dealer to the exchange. And the exchange will give all information to the authorized dealer. Authorized dealer will check up with you to see that any exposure beyond US dollar 100 million, you are having a contract or not. That is only contracted exposure beyond US dollar 100 million. It has to be monitored by the authorized dealer. Then another major change that has come in this guideline is that actually earlier 2016 circular, it has bifurcated users into facility for residents, facility to non-residents, facilities to authorized dealers. Then Part B covers accounts of non-resident banks. Now they have removed all these things. Now they have classified, instead of mentioning so many things, they have told that users, they have just coined one term, users. That users can be residents, that users can be non-resident also. Then there is also another bifurcation between users. That's called retail user, non-retail user. Now, who are these non-retail users? Non-retail users are precisely big companies having net worth of more than 500 crores, or they could be banks who are regulated under various regulators. Non-resident companies, these are non-retail users. These non-retail users can, if they want, themselves classify. They can declare that they may be covered under retail. It is a choice is given. They are eligible to be classified as non-retail user. But if they chose that they want to be a retail user, they can choose. Now, why? What is the advantage of a non-retail user when they are using derivatives like option? Lot of freedom is given to them. For example, a retail user, he can only buy options. A non-retail user, he can sell options also. So in the case of usage of derivatives, there is a lot of liberalization given to non-retail users. Now further, if you go into the circulars, these are actually from a, may not be very much relevant to the exporter, but still the forward contract or dollar rupee can be covered either onshore and offshore. Earlier, we were having something called non-deliverable forward contracts abroad in major financial centers, because earlier there was a lot of restrictions for entities for non-resident entities for mostly onshore. So the non-deliverable forward now it's called non-deliverable derivative indemnity. This got developed in offshore financial centers like Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, and all that. This had resulted in arbitrage opportunities and caused a lot of volatilities in the spot and forwards. So RBI want to slowly, reduce the kind of arbitrage opportunity, or reduce the kind of influence of the non-deliverable forwards on the onshore market. So they have come with international financial centers where Indian banks can set up branches there as offshore centers and do transactions in the non-deliverable derivative contracts. So these are actually may not be applicable for all of you, but maybe from a theoretical perspective, it is there in the circular also. So that is why I made a passing reference on this. Now, there are the other important points are there. Contracts once booked on anticipated exposure basis will remain as anticipated exposure. Once you have booked a contract on anticipated exposure, it will continue to remain as anticipated exposure. You cannot convert it into a contracted exposure later by bringing a contract. Similarly, contracts once booked on contract exposure will remain as contracted exposures. This is all in summary actually on forward contracts. I have mostly covered the theoretical part of it, and now I prefer going to the question and answer session, which will offer insights to both of us in case where, because it's a new guideline actually, wherever suppose we require some clarification based on questions which you have posed to us, we will again go to Reserve Bank of India, take clarification and update a few on this so that all of you become aware of the RBI dispensation in this regard. And we are in touch with FEDI also. So wherever required, because it's a new guideline effective from September, suppose some queries which we are unable to answer at this juncture for any reason, we'll take up with the RBI and contact. With this, I will. Actually, you would like to talk to you? Anything? Straight away. How about Dani, Rakesh then? We'll straight away go to the question. Answer. So Rishiji, can we just go to the question answer session so that at least?
Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us good insights about current and capital account transactions. And I hope participants would have understood that what is the difference between the current account and capital account transactions, and specifically with respect to forward contract booking. Capital account transactions are overseas direct investment, foreign direct investment, and current account transactions are the regular export-import transactions which are being undertaken by most of you. Taking forward, now the session is open for interactive session. Now we will start the question and answer session. Before taking forward, I once again request all the participants who would like to raise their queries. There is a raise hand icon on the bottom of your screen which you can use, and we will be able to accommodate you during this question and answer session. I request Shri Jaquuddin to raise his query. Mr. Jaquuddin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sankaranarayan.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
As usual, you are thorough in guiding us as students.
Nice seeing you here.
Thank you very much. Now, the question is that, what are the criteria for lien mark? Yeah.
What are the criteria for?
Lien mark. Lien mark.
Myanmar. So that
no,
is
he means to say what is the criteria for lien marking? Whenever we lien mark the funds, like in EFC account, we earmark the funds.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ashwini, can you answer this? Lien marking. You are talking about EFC?
Yeah, you see, for forward contract.
Forward. That is lien marking of what? Lien marking of your deposits. Margin.
Any security.
Okay. I got the point. See, every forward contract, there is a credit risk. Now, suppose the banker is comfortable with your credit risk.
Yeah.
He may do a forward contract without any lien marking also.
Okay.
It depends upon a credit assessment, because as you know, when a forward contract is booked,
Yeah.
and where there is a gain in favor of the bank or a loss in favor of the customer, loss against the customer, and if the customer is not ultimately utilizing that, the loss will fall on the bank.
Okay.
Because of that, actually, normally banks take a 5% upfront margin. Sometimes it is 2%, sometimes it's 5%. It varies from customer to customer,
Okay.
depending upon the comfort the bank is having on the credit risk.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
2 to 5%, huh?
2 to 5%. And of course, suppose there is an excessive volatility.
Yeah.
For because you are booking a contract say for 1 year,
Yeah.
and there has excessive volatility, and it is seen that actually this 5% margin is not sufficient, and already the loss incurred by you is exceeding that 5%, then we may ask to request you to top up also. Again, also that depends upon the credit rating and standards.
Okay. But if it is for short term, like 2-3 months,
Yeah.
not 1
I think
year.
there won't be a challenge actually. I don't think that banks will be insisting too much of margin. It is only for operational reasons they take 2 to 5% margin. And basically that is kept in FDR where you'll get interest also.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now I request Mr. Sumit Khosla to raise his query. Mr. Sumit Khosla. I request Mr. Zoeb to raise his query. Mr. Zoeb. Mr. Zoeb, you need to unmute yourself. Mr. Zoeb. I request Mr. R. Vishwanathan to raise his query. Mr. Vishwanathan, you need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Sir, my question is to Mr. Shankar Narayanan. Sir,
Hello. I think he got some issues with the net.
Yes, sir. I request Mr. Rajunkar Saha to raise his query. Mr. Rajunkar Saha.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you, sir? Thank you for conducting this meeting, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, I have a queries. Like, I have a dollar booking in my bank on 24th of March 2020, and I've taken it for 1 month, from 24th March 2020 till 23rd April 2020. Okay. So, due to this COVID pandemic, I couldn't complete my shipment. It was all locked down. So what our banker did is that as soon as the 24th of April 2020 reached, the bank canceled my booking and deducted 96,000 from my account. I have an exposure of $31,000. So basically, sir, I just want to ask and help from your end. Like, this is done out of act of God kind of thing. So it is not any fault from our end. So like, how can the government or the bank support us so that I get back my deduction back to my account?
I do not know. See, what the deductions have already happened, because when a deduction has already happened means the bank also would have covered the transaction. Now let us understand that Reserve Bank of India has already given lot of dispensation for COVID.
Yes.
Like
Yes, sir.
export relaxation, it can be extended up to 15 months. All those dispensations have been provided. So
Yes.
the AD can very well, suppose when you had approached the AD mentioning that actually the contract could not be fulfilled, or the export will happen what you call little later, or whatever it is there, you require a what you call extension, in which case the contract could have been cancelled and rebooked. When you cancel a contract also, whatever loss is there, that you have to pay. But the advantage is that actually when you are booking the forward contract, you will get the forward premium also simultaneously. whatever losses are there, na, that will get adjusted in your forward rate.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever what happens is that when you are cancelling a contract and rebooking, what happens is that
Yes.
the
Yes.
cost
Yes.
is the same in either cases, and you will get the extra forward premium also.
Okay.
So what is the loss? The loss is between what is the contracted rate difference the spot rate. That is the loss.
Okay. Okay.
Now that loss will get recouped once your forward contract gets used. Once you are extending and booking a new forward contract, once you are utilizing that forward contract, this loss will get automatically recouped. Plus you will get forward premium also. So what would have
Yes.
been an ideal case in your case would have been that the bank, based on your request, should have cancelled and rebooked your forward contract. And that is
Okay,
allowed
okay.
there. That is allowed there.
So my booking was in 72 USD. So, but now it's going around 75 US dollars. So, like in that way, if I see, sir, like I couldn't that time I have
So
not
now
extended.
in that case, actually, you are benefited. No? Now, if the export is going to happen, means you will get a higher rate now.
Oh, so that means like the
See that
from the
contract
bank
is
end,
also
what I've done, I have rebooked it again.
rebooked it is okay.
Okay,
No problem.
yes, sir.
That is as per procedure only. What you are telling is that how to, that loss is incurring, how to,
Yes,
you have
the
to,
loss is
you are
already
having
incurred in
cash
my
flow
account.
there. You are
Yes.
actually, cash flow issue is there. Immediately you have to what you call provide for the loss.
Yes. In
So
that
is
crisis time.
that is how whether bank can actually help in that regard.
So is there anything that fund can be put into monetarium or something like that? Is there facilities like that? The 96,000 that has been deducted from my account, can it be put into monetarium? Is there any facilities from Reserve Bank of India towards the bank?
There is at the moment no facility actually. RBI has given certain dispensation for MSMEs where
Yes.
actually that the banks can increase, the banks can provide additional funding to them up to a certain
Yes.
percentage.
Okay.
Now, based on your working capital requirement, even this could be considered a part of that by your banker.
By my banker.
See, the thing is that actually what is your issue is actually when you are actually cancelling the contract, there is a loss incurred and there is a cash flow issue.
Yes.
Now, if your banker can so manage it or so what you call take a call on that for your MSME unit, and if they can cover that as part of your working capital requirement,
Okay.
then accordingly under the COVID dispensation, maybe they could consider. It depends upon the AD and the relationship you are having with the AD.
Relationship I have with AD. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for all your help, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
I request Mr. Yog Prakash to raise his query. Sir, you need to unmute yourself. Mr. Yog Prakash.
Can you hear me, sir? Good evening.
Yes,
Good
we can hear.
evening. Good
Good
evening.
evening, sir. So we are the exporter from Tirupur main branch, sir.
Okay. Whom are you banking with? Are you
Sir,
banking with which bank?
UCO Bank.
Oh, nice meeting you. Yeah.
UCO Tirupur main branch, actually, sir.
Okay.
Similar same
শুনলে
question
আমি
only, sir.
queries করলাম যে
As you
বুঝলে
said
কি
me,
বললো?
sir, earlier, we can rebook the contracts once it is cancelled
সিএমও
during the
যেটা
time of
বলতো যে
COVID,
আবার
actually,
রিবুক করে
sir.
নেন, ওটাইও বললো।
But the thing is, but my order also has been cancelled. So
কিন্তু
there is
ওকে
no
আমি
way
যখন
to
বললাম
rebook
যে
it,
আমার এখন
actually, sir.
75 চলছে তখন ও
I think some
No.
voices.
I'm sorry for the disturbance. Actually, Mr. Saha, who was an earlier participant, was not muted. Just now I have muted it. Can you just repeat your query?
Same question earlier it was asked. SAR said we can rebook the contract at the time when we are cancelled on the COVID time, actually. But the scenario is a buyer has cancelled a lot of orders in this time of COVID, actually. We also met around 6 lakhs rupees loss in past 2 months, last May and April booked contracts, actually, sir. But those we don't have the orders now, actually, so we cannot rebook also. So any scenario, anything is there, sir? In any way, is there any other possibilities?
No, let us understand what is this forward contract booking. What bank is doing? What do you mean by forward contract booking? Bank is buying dollars from you. How
Yes.
the bank is giving a rate to you?
You're
When the bank
getting a rate
buys
from all the
dollars from you, bank sells the dollar in the interbank market.
Okay, fine, sir.
expecting that you are going to give the dollar to the bank. Now, if you are
Are
not
they
delivering, now just make it clear to all actually. Suppose you are not delivering the dollar, what the bank can do? Bank have to buy the dollar from the market at the ongoing rate. The resultant loss is taken from you. Bank is not making any gain in between. Try to understand that.
I know, sir. I know, sir. Actually,
So what happens is that suppose you say that you have booked a forward contract and you will not be able to make the delivery.
the
It will
delivery
be very
extension, no
difficult.
issue, sir.
It will be very difficult. Even if there is an extension or cancellation and rebooking, there should be a surety that ultimately you are going to deliver the dollar. If there is no scope to deliver the dollar at all because the contracts are cancelled, what the bank can do or what you can do also, because you are not able to go into
No,
deliver
sir,
the
I'm
dollar.
just asking at the end, can you same you're booking in some other place? Is there possibilities at the end to make this not happen, or it should be happened? There is no other possibilities.
There is, see,
I'm saying
this is,
you are
I am putting it in a very practical perspective from the banker's point of view also. How exactly this is covered? It is a simple transaction, like how we are doing trading. The bank is also doing the same thing. Bank is buying dollar from you and selling the dollar in the market. And suppose you are unable to deliver the dollar, bank has no choice but to buy the dollar from the market and deliver to the counterparty. In the process, if there's a loss, the bank, it's fair that bank, you cannot ask the bank to bear the loss. So ultimately, it has to be borne by the customer. That is how the
I just need to know only because of this COVID time. Is there any? They have made. I know if it is normal time, there is no possibilities because this time no other happens, sir.
The COVID time, what I'm telling, credit dispensation banks are giving you. For example, that whatever 10% extra limit you can avail, all those kind of things banks are giving you. When you are having a cash flow related challenge,
that was a great.
You, not
sir,
precisely
actually,
for this, but through an indirect way, banks can extend actually facilities which they cannot specifically say that for this alone, but you have a cash flow related issue. It can be brought into the assessment of your credit appraisal, where actually to some manner in which some accommodation can be provided considering the COVID situation. Possibly, it depends upon the authorized dealer or the bank.
Fine, sir. Now they are asking for the 2 to 5% margin, sir. Actually, still last year we have not maintained any those kind of margin actually, but we are booking almost. We are doing for business around 40 to 50 lakhs per year in dollars actually. So if you're asking 5%, that is going around more than a crore actually. We have limit itself same limit only actually. So we cannot maintain that. No, so they can fix that.
You can do it. You send a proposal to your zonal manager. To a zonal manager to us at the international division, that there are some special dispensations are there. We will see whether
by last year turnover or by a continuous business you can make us fixing some dollars will be very
on you and the zonal office.
Sure, sir.
Based on which we can
Sure, sir. I'm just asking, you just fix a limit even without a margin. By this time, we have very lot of issues. Only we have good support from 10 and 20% loan we got from the bank. That was a very good thing we got from the bank. It was a very good support actually because no buyers have made the payment now. There are goods deliveries are late, cancelled. A lot of things happened actually.
Our zonal manager is a very proactive person, Coimbatore. The zonal manager there is a very proactive person. Yes.
I need to. You just allow us to book the contracts based on our last year business, sir. Accordingly, how much we have utilized. We have not even canceled a single contract last year. Only this COVID has made us to cancel actually.
Okay, that's a separate thing actually. We will deal it separately. Now provisions are there, no anticipated exposure is there. It is allowed actually. Your only thing is that actually, the calls have to be made at the branch level and zonal office level. Where support is required, we are there.
Now I request Mr. Jawahar to raise his query. Mr. Jawahar.
Yeah, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I am from Coimbatore. I am into exports of coir. So my question is, sir, so if I make a forward contract, so how much time do I have to cancel the contract? Do I have like after I make a contract, I decide, okay, I don't need the contract. Do I have like a 2 weeks time or a 3 weeks time? How much time window do I have before I can cancel a contract? And that is one.
You can cancel the contract anytime. There is no special reason. Suppose you booked a contract and you realize that the underlying contract is not going to materialize, you can cancel the contract.
Oh, so even the very next day you can go and cancel. There is no timeline.
Yes, if you feel that it's not going to, but only thing is that if it is an anticipated exposure, in which case actually any losses there will be recorded from you, and any gain is there will not be passed on to you.
Oh, okay. And sir, and also, is there any official website that I can see the fluctuation of dollars, like the anticipated fluctuation of a US dollar to an Indian rupee? Is there any website that I can see from today to 60 days from now? What is the anticipated? I mean, we cannot say it from...
that is a speculative thing. Actually, that is actually that is just a speculative thing. Actually, only thing is that actually what is the dollar rate 60 days from now? Yes, today's spot rate plus forward premium. If you are adding, you will get the rate as on today.
Okay.
For 60 days forward. But after 60 days, what is going to be the dollar rupee? It is something a speculative kind of thing.
Okay, but before making a forward contract, can I go to an official website and see what is the speculative rate and then make a decision? Okay,
there are no websites, according to my knowledge.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And it is also very difficult, and even good dealers are making mistakes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I request Mr. Zoeb to raise his query. Mr. Zoeb, you need to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Sir,
yes, we can hear you.
We are merchant exporters, and today I make a contract with my customer, and I supply the goods by the end of July, and the payment is expected in the first week of September. So how do I do this forward contract?
Can you repeat, please?
Can I do it today? Can I do it today?
Can you please repeat, please? Your question, kindly repeat.
Yeah, I have just confirmed an order today.
Okay.
And the material is to be shipped by the end of July. And by the time it reaches, and I expect the funds to come in September 15th.
Okay.
Because of the terms of payment agreed upon.
Okay.
So when can I do a forward contract today, or after my shipment is done? When can I do this?
See, if you are actually very sure that actually this is going to happen, and you are having an underlying risk, the moment actually you have entered into a what you call contract with your overseas party, your risk starts actually on the dollar rupee.
Right.
So you feel that if you feel that this is going to happen, then it depends upon your comfort level whether this contract is going to materialize.
Okay.
In which case you can book the forward contract as soon as the contract commences. As soon as the contract.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Yeah. No, because it's a regular customer and a regular supply I'm doing. So I know positively.
Right.
So, and is it, whether it be a big amount or a small amount, is it okay, fine? Say sometimes it is $5,000, sometimes it's $20,000.
Yeah,
so,
it's no problem. No criteria on the amount.
No criteria on the amount. So one question.
And when you are having a contracted exposure, you are having a much more benefit than anticipated exposure.
Really?
Because where the authorities are having a little more comfort there actually. When you are cancelling the contract and all that, the AD will have a much more comfort than in anticipated exposure.
Achha. And sir, one question which is not pertaining to this, I just wanted to know, many times our customers have their funds parked in NRE accounts in the Indian banks. Can I use those funds to set off against exports? My goods exported to them?
See, that's again a totally different domain altogether actually.
Different domain, I know, but it is just
See, suppose NRA wants to give loan to you and all that, it's up to the NRA and you. So it's a totally separate domain altogether.
No, he wants to pay it off against goods supplied to him.
That can be done. That can be done, no problem.
Sure.
That can be done.
No, because I had the problem with Bank of
India. Even I'm telling you, not only NRI.
Okay.
Now, even I am telling you, suppose your counterpart, some scheme is, some special rupee scheme is there now. Even your
Right.
counterparty, he can have a, and just theoretically I'm telling you, he can have a rupee account here. Like how
Okay.
banks are making Vostro accounts. We are settling Iran transaction through Vostro account.
Right.
Similarly, your counterparty can open a rupee account here and have it settled. There is a special rupee account, even that facility is there. So even
Okay,
a
no-
target Indian, a non-resident can also have an account and have the facility settled in rupees.
No, I had this problem with Bank of India, so then I switched over to a private bank, HDFC. You know, we have this
Yeah.
problem of squaring up this amount. They refuse to do that. Then I have to switch over to HDFC Bank. Now the funds are lying in the Bank of India. My customers' funds are lying. So how do I?
No, that is allowed. That is allowed. Only see, suppose an NRE wants to actually, you know, buy goods from you and use his funds. Yes, that is very well allowed.
Actually, whether he has in Indian rupees or in foreign exchange,
You can either have the contract in Indian rupees, or you can have the contract in dollars and say that this will be settled at a particular RBIB reference rate or something like that. Or
So,
you know, like you can engage into the contract.
Okay, but any reference, because the Bank of India refused, so I had to switch. Though I was very happy with Bank of India, honestly. Dealing
they
with
are
public
really
sector is a very
professional.
good bank, you know.
Correct, right.
I prefer dealing with public sector, but you know, private banks charge you, but they give you these facilities. But
Yeah.
can I give any reference of any particular?
No, they are very knowledgeable actually. You go and speak to them.
No,
they will help you.
I'm talking about 5-6 years ago. You know, now that is why.
No,
that
you
they
go
did
and
not
speak to
give
them.
me.
The authorized dealers, bankers, they are aware of this. Definitely, they will facilitate it. There is no challenge at all.
Achha, sir, now I do exports on DA basis.
Yeah.
And it so happens my customer is very good. They're well known. We've been dealing since last 25 years. Now, is it possible if I deal with multiple banks? So is it necessary I have to book and get the realization in the same bank, or I can go to another AD who is giving me dealer who's giving me a better rate?
You can, as per RBI guidelines, you can.
Acha. No, because I have just now $65,000 in HSBC, but HSBC is not giving me a very good rate. You know, in fact, I find my
you can have the rate booked through another bank and deliver the what you call dollars. No issue.
No issue.
No
but
challenge.
then how is my BRC closed?
No. Wherever you are doing the export,
right?
There actually that bank will have to give you the EBS.
No, but then I encash the dollar with say HDFC, and HSBC is not giving me a good rate. It's $65,000. You know, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. No,
then
you are only
covering
the transaction with another bank. Suppose Bank of India is giving a better rate. You are taking a rate from Bank of India. Every transaction you are putting through the what you call putting through HSBC. But for rate you are only what you call purchasing dollar from selling dollar to
Bank of India. Right.
So only thing is that there is a movement of dollar to Bank of India. That is all. So EBRC has to be issued to HSBC.
No, but the HSBC will not say no. By you've not encashed with us, why should we give you the EBRC?
No, these are all defined guidelines. No bank, and there are banking ombudsmen are there. There is IBA. No bank can tell like that.
Okay, that's great, sir. Now I know how to handle them.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
Now I request Mr. Sumit Khosla to raise his query. Mr. Sumit Khosla. Mr. Sumit Khosla, you can ask your query. There is a participant with name 3634. Sir, you can ask your query. 3634. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. This is Kamlesh here. Good
Good
evening to
evening.
everybody. And we are actually having our export and import business both together, but we are not till date we are not involved into any forward booking of the dollars and all. We are having our own EFC account, and we are
Okay.
maintaining the balances in the dollar account. So, what would be the right thing? Would you please guide me how we can get any advantage out of this?
No, if you are having a what you call active dollar rupee outlook, then you can play on that. Otherwise, what you are doing is perfect. Actually, you are using your EFC, you are having a natural hedge.
Yeah.
So you are utilizing that. But suppose if you feel that you want to what you call take a what you call active kind of role, then of course, yeah, you can do it. You can see the thing is that actually, for our customers, what we do is we send what you call a weekly update. Even daily, also we send SMSs to very premier customers of ours, wherever it is, where we just provide them the what you call just indicative views of our dealers.
Okay.
Similarly, other banks are also doing. Not only our bank, many other banks are also doing it.
Okay.
So,
Actually, I'm banking with Bank of Baroda, and
yeah,
I'm
definitely they'll be providing you some insights.
no, but
The dealers of the banks.
Sorry, but the forward booking can be done at a higher rate than the prevailing rate normally, or it will be done on the prevailing rate.
See, I'm telling you, forward booking
Yeah.
is always dollar will be in a premium.
Okay.
Why? Because dollar is having a lower interest rate than rupee.
Yeah.
Forward premium is nothing but the interest rate differential between the dollar and the rupee. That is all.
Right.
Spot rate plus the interest rate differential, approximate interest rate differential. It's a
Okay.
forward. If you are booking a contract in a convertible currency like euro, Japanese yen and all that, you will find that actually the forward premium is nothing but the exact interest rate differentials, because
Okay.
those currencies are fully convertible currencies.
Yeah.
But Indian rupee is not fully convertible, as I have explained to you. On
Yeah.
current account, we are convertible, but still there are restrictions. On capital account, there are a lot many restrictions.
Yeah.
For example, you cannot simply go and buy shares of some company abroad, just like that.
Right.
You cannot just buy a property abroad, or you cannot just invest money abroad.
Yeah.
So you are an exporter, even you are having earnings in dollars.
Yeah.
You have to keep the money in EFC here.
Yeah.
So there are such restrictions are there in India. Even
Yeah.
in rupee also there are restrictions. There are rupee is not convertible, just like that. Mainly it is an onshore market only, offshore not much of activities there. So because of that, actually forward premium sometimes it may not be. There could be some difference between the interest rate. In which case arbitrage will be there, where actually people take advantage of arbitrage also. That is why this non-deliverable forward, arbitrage, all those things happen, and RBI wanted to minimize the impact of the non-deliverable market. That is why guidelines also you will see that actually many things have been harped on non-deliverable derivative contract.
Yeah. So it is like more like speculation only.
No. See, what I mean to say is that I'm telling you about arbitrage. Arbitrage means actually people actually buy from one market. For example, non-deliverable forward market. Suppose somebody is having access to Singapore market.
Yeah.
They can buy dollar there and sell dollar in the onshore market here. If there's an arbitrage.
Yeah.
Suppose rate is higher here.
Okay.
Or they can buy from there and sell it here, or vice versa.
Okay. And even
buy from there, the rate is higher in the NDF. So this type of arbitrage happens.
Okay.
So, RBI wants, by the way the current circular is there, it seems that RBI wants to reduce the impact of the non-deliverable forward contract. That is why international financial centers and all that they have allowed opening in India.
Right. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for replying.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I request Mr. R. Vishwanathan to raise his query. Mr. R. Vishwanathan. I request Mr. Jawahar to raise his query. Mr. Jawahar, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, sir, Can you hear me, sir?
Good
Yes,
evening,
we
Mr.
can hear.
Jawahar.
Okay, sir. Sir, you were talking about this contract exposure and anticipated exposure, sir. I'm a new exporter, and I don't understand this concept. Can you quickly explain me the difference between the two, sir?
Okay. Now RBI has also not given very clear guidelines on this actually. But if you see the earlier circular, there was a dispensation called past performance, where authorized dealers can allow you to book contract based on your past performance. In which case, they will take a declaration from you that you have an underlying exposure. Later on, you can give once the contract is materialized, you can give the contract to the banker and book forward contract. That decision to allow you to book the forward contract is based on your past performance. What is the last year turnover? What is the average of your turnover for the last 3 years? Whichever is higher. Certain rules are there. How exactly that is to be decided, based on which we will set up a limit for you, within which actually you can have. It's called past performance limit, within which actually you can book the contract. Now RBI has done away with all these things. RBI has told anticipated exposure. That is, for example, you feel that actually in the next 3 months, this is what exactly you are going to do the export, and this is the kind of exposure you are going to have, and you find that today the dollar is very favorable to you. Dollar is a very high rate, and there's a likelihood that rupee is going to appreciate, and you want to take advantage of that. In which case, you can go to the bank, and the bank will judge based on your turnover, based on your conduct and all that. Yes, this exporter is definitely is in a position to export this much. That's called anticipated exposure, based on which the bank can allow you to book forward contract. But as I told you, in the case of anticipated exposure, the guideline is very clear. They say that when you are booking the anticipated exposure, and suppose you are unable to perform, and the contract need to be cancelled, then any loss is there that will be recovered. Any gain will not be passed on. The gain will be passed on only when there is when that contract is backed by a cash flow. That means either there will be a dollar delivery, or you have to give a bill with the bill of lading. Then only you will be in a position to get utilize that contract and take advantage of the exchange. You cannot cancel and take the gain out of it. You can, of course, there is a likelihood, as I said, because of COVID reasons, suppose the contract get extended. Yes, you can cancel and rebook. That you can do n number of times, no problem.
But for new
exposure, that is simple thing is that I think the overall thing is actually that RBI will not allow any speculation.
Okay. So for new exporter, sir, for a new exporter, it is going to be based on anticipated, right? For a new
exporter, again, it's always preferable to go on contracted exposure initially, because you don't have a past track record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, thanks.
Yes, Ashwin, you have something to tell? That they are all can benefit from your experience. You can just change it. Want to speak something? For a change. We have also Mr. Ashwini, who is a DGM, who has worked abroad also, has worked in Treasury. So I think Ashwini can answer some of the questions also. Anyone else?
Sir, since there is a little time here, I just have one. This is Jawahar. One more question, sir.
Okay.
This EFC account, right? Is it mandatory for a new exporter to start? And what is the advantage of having an EFC account?
It is not mandatory. Actually, an export runner can have an EFC account, that he can park the dollars which he is receiving the EFC account. And suppose you are having an import, you can utilize that dollars without the need to convert and again buying dollars again.
Okay. Okay. So
Then
instead
also
of
you can, suppose you feel that you have received dollars and you feel that this is not the appropriate time to what you call encash in the rupees. You can keep the dollars in later on. Of course, mandatorily you have to convert certain percentage actually. If I remember some guideline were there. EFC kya hai? 50% or something, I think they have to mandatorily convert or something like that. Yeah, something is there. Yeah.
And the rest of the 50% I can keep it for any number of days, or that is also I have some certain time.
I think some guidelines are there on that agreement. You come, just come. Mr. Ashwini will address it.
Okay.
I request Mr. Ashwini to answer that.
The latest guideline is the entire amount has to be converted by the end of next March. There is no 50%, entire 100%.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
I request Mr. Arun Ambar to raise his query. Mr. Arun Ambar, you need to unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
You're audible.
Yeah, sir, I just wanted to ask, can I invoice my client in INR? And since INR is not a fully convertible currency, so can I bill my invoice in INR and receive payment in INR also for exports?
Yes, you can do that, provided your client is okay with it.
But the payment will come through Vostro account.
Vostro account, of course.
Okay, thank you.
I request Mr. Sumit Khosla to raise his query. Mr. Sumit Khosla. I request Mr. D. Thangapandi to raise his query. Mr. D. Thangapandi, you need to unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am a UCO Bank customer.
Welcome.
Sir, more than 25 years, sir. I am with your bank.
Nice speaking to you.
Our bank supported a lot, but now in the starting you told that for forward contract 2 to 5% you are taking margin now. Previously, we have not paid any margin.
Yeah,
so,
we have undergone a few losses. That is why we decided like that.
So you kindly consider again with 0% margin because since you are old customer.
That's true. There is dispensation given to the branch and zonal manager where required, where there is a genuine requirement or where they are comfortable, then they have to refer the matter to the higher ups. But again, 2 to 5% may not be a very big, and you are going to get interest on that also. You can keep in FDR. We are not telling you to keep in current account. You can keep it as interest bearing FDR.
Even
the money belongs to you only.
Okay,
only a margin.
It will belong to us only there, but for capital rotation it will.
No, your working capital assessment also can be based on that, a little bit. When they do the working capital assessment, they can consider this aspect also.
Another thing, sir. Now, previously you answered for the export, you can make it in Indian rupee, but maximum I am doing import only. For that also, how it will work, sir? How it will, because we have to send.
There is some, like how exactly we do foreign exchange transaction. We do foreign exchange transaction by opening an account with a bank abroad. For example, dollar transactions. We open a Nostro account. That means Nostro account is nothing but we open a current account with a, say, Citibank or JP Morgan, and the dollar comes to that account. Your export proceeds come to that account, and how we are giving rupee, we are selling the dollar to somebody else, and we get the rupee and we are giving it to you. This is simple transaction, foreign exchange. Similarly, actually, a foreign bank can open an Indian rupee account. It's called instead of an Ostro account, it's called a Vostro account. Only name is changed. So export transaction can be undertaken through these. For example, in Iran transactions, we do like that only through Vostro account only. Realization happens. Okay, we can explain to you in a much better fashion on a one-to-one basis. How exactly this happens? So Vostro mechanism.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Now I request Mr. Sunil Parmar to raise his query. Mr. Sunil Parmar, you need to unmute yourself. Mr. Sunil Parmar. Mr. Sunil Parmar, you need to unmute yourself. I request Mr. Sumit Khosla to raise his query. Mr. Sumit Khosla. I request Mr. R. Vishwanathan to raise his query. Mr. R. Vishwanathan.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, this is the third time I'm trying. Sir, I am Vishwanathan calling from Chennai.
Okay, sir.
Sir, actually, what happened is in the month of March 18th, we booked a forward contract with the bank, ICICI Bank.
Okay.
And instantly this COVID lockdown came.
Okay.
So I communicated to the bank to cancel the contract. That is the succeeding week, which was on 27th March.
Okay.
Because to avoid losses, I told them. But
Right.
this, it cannot be done, and it can be done only after April 21st.
Nothing. They could have cancelled it then and there. I do not know what exactly has transpired, but I can tell you the general guideline only. I cannot comment on any specific bank, but
no problem.
Yeah, at any point of time you can cancel it. There is no kind of.
But they didn't allow me to do, and I incurred a loss of 2 lakhs.
There is a specific bank related. I will not be able to comment on that.
Okay, so the bank would have done it. That's what you're saying.
I cannot comment on a specific bank. I can only tell on from a general perspective. General
No, sir,
perspective.
I'm just asking, but
forward contract can be cancelled anytime. Yeah.
Anytime, sir. If I say, I'm just another clarity. Assume that if the contract would have cancelled on the 27th of March.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would have been the loss incurred in a general term? I'm asking, sir.
See, the simple thing as I told you, when you are booking a forward, you are an exporter. When you are booking a forward, what is happening is you are committing to deliver the dollar on a particular date.
Okay.
Now what the bank is doing, the day you are booking the time you are booking the contract. Now we are going to say that I am going to sell dollars value, say August 31st August. The moment what the bank will do is immediately bank will go and sell the dollar in the market.
Okay, sir.
Today you come to know that actually you are unable to deliver the dollar. You will tell the bank, I want to cancel the contract.
Okay.
Then the bank will purchase the dollar from the market.
Okay.
Now bank can purchase the dollar only at today's rate, today's spot rate plus a forward premium applicable.
Correct.
Now whatever rate you have booked.
Okay.
And this rate, if there is a loss.
Okay.
Okay. That rate is higher than today's forward rate is higher than whatever you have booked.
Okay.
Then whatever losses are there, that will be recouped from you.
Okay.
And whatever gain is there, provided it's a contracted exposure, where the bank will take a call, whether it's not a speculative thing, then bank can pass on. In the case of anticipated exposure, bank will not pass on.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Now I request Shri Abdul Aziz sir, who is our managing committee member of FIO, and he is also a convener of committee on banking of FIO. Sir, I would like you to raise your query because you have raised your hand. You need to unmute yourself. Abdul Aziz sir.
And he is one of our VIP customers also.
Yes, sir. Very true.
Good afternoon, sir. All of you, good afternoon. Very good afternoon.
Well,
All
sir.
right, sir. And
How is
I'm
business
with the
going?
bank for more than 34 years.
Yeah, how is business going, sir? Now COVID time.
Business is due to pandemic. We have a big ongoing challenges are there. Orders are there, but work from situation. We have to safeguard the workers. We have to look after their welfare. Same time, meet the orders of the buyer, which are also very tough orders nowadays. They are changing the seasons. So it's a tough time we are going through. Regarding
And
the
how is
today's
bank is
discussion,
supporting you? Whether how you are satisfied, whether they are supporting you or bank?
yeah, we are satisfied, but I think, we always have your auditors giving wrong sorts of problem. We have parking credit, which is a running account, but they say, no, it cannot be running account. I don't know where they pick up the points. For
No
30 years,
issues, sir.
nobody told me that.
You are having challenges. We are just a call away.
Yeah. So, anyhow, and coming to the Forex booking, we are quite happy.
Right.
What we lack with UCO Bank is, like other banks, they have an advisory. Immediately, sometimes, what is your call and you're exposed so much, you can go for more exposure or not. We think today, tomorrow, if this vaccine comes, rupee may appreciate tremendously suddenly. We don't know. We cannot say anything. So there is an advisory. I mean, now you said Mr. Aswani is general manager, is well versed. We should have some sort of dialogue when we need to be advised. For big exporters, this is a very essential advisory. So I have all the other things are taken care.
Because I am little bit, in your case actually, because I have been dealing with your, because I remember that actually when I was in treasury also, AM professor, they used to cover with me. And since I joined the bank, in 1991, I knew. If you remember, actually, we have good treasury also. We used to talk to your dealer there.
Yeah.
And then we used to book forward contracts. We used to also give advice. And Mr. Soundararajan and all that at that point of time, if you remember, they were all there.
We had a lot of good things going.
We are also having a team right now in our treasury. We will put you across to that team. Our dealing room in Mumbai. I will put you across to your dealing room. So they can give you right advice. We are only a call away.
Yeah.
At
all
any
we
point
want,
of time. Not only that, actually, the advisories also we will give it to you. Yeah. We take your point. We take note of your point.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. All the best to you. And UCO is a great bank for me. That's all I can say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rashid.
Now I request Shri Mihir Mehta to raise his query. Sir, you need to unmute yourself. Mr. Mihir Mehta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I have two queries. First is of Iran transaction. In which sort of the things is when the process is going on. If it is necessary.
Mr. Mihir, I would like to intervene here. This forum is exclusively for forward contract. So in case if you have any queries related to forward contract, you can raise it. For queries other than forward contract, you can write to us. We will take it up in different forums.
Yeah, sure. Sir, it was related to the next for the forwards. We enjoy some PCFC limits in derivatives for the forwards. So we have a PCFC limit. So it is possible that we can set the PCFC limit to the for the derivatives also, that we have to give the margin on something.
See, PCFC is a packing credit facility. It is not for any derivative. Packing credit is given actually for processing your goods for exports.
No. I'm just asking. I'm just asking whether you can give us some sort of an loan type of a thing that we can utilize for the derivatives also.
No bank will. That is actually, limits are not just given for derivative, not for speculative purposes.
The problem is that our huge amount of the our huge amount of working capital is being blocked. So, is there anything for the forwards that the UCO Bank can help us?
See, I am telling you, for forwards, it can be actually considered into your, when a working capital assessment is being done, actually, they can capture your forward contract requirement also and accordingly set up limits and of course, some earmark, some of the limits for utilize. That's a separate part altogether. But for derivatives per se, there cannot be any limit just like that. But of course, while doing an assessment of working capital, they can set aside a part of the limit for forwards if the bank is ready for that.
Okay.
Or
And sir, also one
5% margin.
And also, sir, one thing we also sometimes have a problem of call of margin call.
Margin call means yes, if there is volatility, yes, bank may. With which bank are you banking?
For the UCO also and with the ICICI.
Of course. In UCO, have you received any margin call? I don't think.
No, not yet. But there was some little during the April and May when the rupee was depreciated. So at that time I was having, but they had sorted out, not an issue. But why there is some things to sort it out. How it is calculated, that I want to know.
How it is calculated?
It is in LTM.
How it is calculated is actually your contract will be mark to market. Okay. What is the present rate? Suppose if you are booked a forward contract, as on today, what is the forward rate applicable and what is the contracted rate which you are having? Whether there is any loss to you on account of that contract. We should have enough margin to cover that. Now, tomorrow the rate can change. This is based on today's, so that's called current credit exposure, a little theoretical. Then there is called potential credit exposure. Tomorrow the rate can change in the next instant. So a sort of notional additional exposure also is taken. Along with the current credit exposure, a potential future credit exposure also is taken. Together it is coming only say 2 to 5%.
2 to 5%. Okay.
Potential future exposure, to be very honest, as per RBI guidelines. But because 5% is normally taken, I am telling you. It's a very modest. If you are doing a transaction currency futures, margin should be at least 10% margin will be there.
Okay. UCO Bank. Okay, sir. So thank you very much.
I request Mr. Jaipuddin to raise his query.
Sir, again, would like to use your knowledge.
Thank you, sir.
One very small minor problem, but it's a problem. And since we have the time, I thought that I should get some advice, and even other exporter also should get some advice on this.
Okay.
When we book, let's say that against my, for my invoice, I have booked foreign exchange of $50,000.
Okay.
But when I get, the proceed, some bank charges are deducted, like $50 or $60, and that portion of the money then is, not within the contract. So either I have to pay the difference for that much of money, or I have to find out some way through your knowledge. How do we avoid the bank charges which is deducted by the foreign bank?
See, whatever actual charges are there deducted by the foreign bank, of course, that need to be paid. If there is any short relation, suppose assume you have booked a forward contract, say $100,000, but you are able to deliver only say $99,950. I'm just telling you. Then of course $50, whatever it is there, again that need to be cancelled. Whatever cost is incurred, that of course it is actually actual cost to the bank. But wherever actually, of course, wherever any high charges banks are doing, if you compare with other banks, and you find that nowadays a lot of transparency is there. All banks are competing with one another now. So then there you can actually compare the charges, but wherever actual cost is incurred by the bank,
Yeah.
Where actually a foreign notional correspondent is charging that he has to recover. Or in the case you are delivered not the full amount, but some amount is remaining, which need to be cancelled. So that cost is an actual cost, of course, that need to be borne.
That is true, but then I just want to, since you are the very senior banker, is there any way that we either reduce the correspondence
that is always negotiable. You find that actually you're a good customer, where you find that actually you are getting better facilities or better charges, because many of the customers nowadays, multiple banking also is there, or your friends are enjoying some limits somewhere else and they are getting it. Then of course banks are keeping the charges now, charges are not very high now. It's all standardized, but still actually depending on turnover, if there's a scope of negotiation, of course, yes.
Because every transaction $50, $60 or $40 at the end of the year, it's a big amount.
That is true. That actually, we have to distinguish between actual expenses and actually the actual expenses and the commission. That's two different things. Actual expenses we have to pay. Commission is there. That's the earning to the bank. Where if any scope is there, it's a negotiable thing with the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Rakesh Dani wants to speak to you.
Yes. Hello, sir. How are you?
Zaki sir.
Yes, sir.
You are dealing with us for such a long time now.
Yeah.
I don't think you face such hassles with our bank.
No, I'm talking about a corresponding bank. They deduct. And if I have any problem with your bank, you are always there to, satisfy my query and find out the solution to my problems. I always contact you. Yeah.
But ऐसा कुछ भी है जाकी साहब, get in touch with us. We will at all times support you.
Sure, I will talk to you. Yeah, on this.
Don't worry, we will support you at all point of time, Zaki sir.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
And, yes, wishing you all the best, sir. At Kolkata.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request Mr. Gopa Kumaran to raise his query. Mr. Gopa Kumaran.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Gopa Kumaran.
Yeah. My question is there any possibility, you see in export, we cannot always, the foreign exchange you cannot exactly what date, exchange will come into your account. Sometimes there can be banking delays, the customer making a little later payment. And suppose I have a particular date I have booked the forex, and if there is a late, is there any provision for postponing to cover this delay of receiving the forex?
Yes, that is there always. That actually, suppose you booked a forward contract and you are experiencing that you are unable to deliver it on the value date of the contract.
Okay.
You can always cancel and rebook the contract.
No, cancel and rebook. There is no. When you cancel, you have to cancel on that day's.
You see. Suppose assume that your contract is say 31st August value date.
Yeah.
And you came to know today that actually you are unable to deliver the contract or dollar. And contract need to be extended up to November, say 30th November.
Correct.
Then you can tell your authorized to cancel the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So what they will do is actually, see what they have done, as I told you, they would have sold dollar value 31st August in the interbank market. Then they will square that contract by way of purchase of dollars. And whatever gain is there, if it is there, provided if it is a contracted exposure, you are having an underlying contract, then the gain will be passed on to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, then if it is a loss, if there will be recovered from you, then a new contract will be booked for November.
No,
I will clarify this. Even the loss you are incurring is only a notional loss at this juncture. Why? Because the forward rate is computed based on the spot rate, based on the forward rate applicable today, plus the forward premium.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically that loss will get covered in your forward rate. Only thing, today you are incurring a loss. Today you should have that much of cash flow.
Yeah.
That is only, that's what we were discussing some time ago.
Yeah, sometimes the rate can go the other way also.
No, that is what I'm telling you. See, if you are having an underlying exposure, and you're going to utilize that exposure, actually there is no loss.
Okay.
Temporarily, there is actually you are cupping out some funds to the extent of difference between your contracted rate and the ongoing rate.
Yeah.
That will get covered because you are going to book a fresh forward contract. Cancellation and rebooking. Rebooking means under contract you are booking. In which case, this rate is already taken up. This loss is already, whatever loss is there, that will come as a what you call profit. Profit, or I should not say profit. This cash flow, I should say. That cash flow, you will get it at the time when the contract is utilized in November.
I'm not talking about, you know, that kind of delay. Let's say we have an LC.
Okay.
LC is for payable by, let's say, 31st of August or 30th of July. And 30th of July, we normally it should come by 30th of July. And, you know, they take normally, you know, we calculate if it is payable by 30th of July, maybe 10th of August or something like that, you know, we book. But if it goes to, let's say, 20th of August, or 30th of August, you know, a few days or sometimes a 1 or 2 weeks delay, which is normal in, you know, everywhere. You can find fault with the bank, remitting bank, but, you know, where do you go? You cannot do that. You know, this kind of delay, we don't know. We are not aware. We have no way to know this.
See, 1 minute. When there is an LC, actually, you know, there is going to be an underlying document.
Correct.
So we are already giving, actually, you know, wherever there are wherever there is a document, export bill is there, or 30 days is allowed.
Oh, 30 days time is there.
Yes.
From the date up to 30 days.
Yeah. But again, you are booking a forward contract based on that, of course. Then the moment the bill, the export bill is the what you call export bill is delivered, actually the contract gets utilized. If you are having a letter of credit and against which there is an export bill is there,
correct.
When you are actually delivering the export bill, the contract gets utilized.
No, the amount has not come on time.
That is all right. But what I mean to say is that, whenever there is a letter of credit, and you are going to present a document against a letter of credit, you should require a rate.
No, it may be, you know, we may not have booked the, you know, I mean, you know, we must have booked it earlier, before even.
I understand. See, that is how it is. See, if an export is going to happen, a letter of credit is coming, immediately you are booking, based on the letter of credit, you are booking a forward contract.
Yes, yeah.
Then later on, actually, why you are booking the forward contract? Because you have to convert dollar to rupee. That's why you are converting, you are booking forward contract.
Correct.
Now, when you are bringing an export bill and the negotiation is happening against a letter of credit, the orders will have to utilize a rate, na? You will tell that actually this bill is against the forward contract which you have booked. Will you not tell? Because letter of credit, based on the letter of credit, you have booked a forward contract and the bill is coming.
Yeah,
so we will tell that against this letter of credit, I am going to utilize this bill.
Yeah, but you know, the bill is
then will immediately link that particular rate which you have used, which you have booked for the LC.
Yeah. Okay.
And then give you, if you're going to negotiate that, then he will give you the proceeds of the export bill.
If the payment is later than the
payment is later in the overdue. See, in the case of an overdue,
payment.
First of all, it's a letter of credit. So in which case, actually, it's an export from the bank.
Correct. Yeah.
So actually, there may not be any challenge.
Okay, it's not.
Even in the case of a normal export bill, banks are giving 30 days. FDI has given 30 days time.
Okay, within 30 days, if it comes, okay.
30 days time is overdue.
Okay. This overdue time is for 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
In case if any of the participant would like to raise query, they need to use raise hand icon on the bottom of your screen. I request Mr. Ansari to raise his query. Mr. Ansari, you need to unmute yourself. Mr. Ansari, you need to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Ansari.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Ansari. Yes, Mr. Ansari, we were able to hear you. You again need to unmute yourself. You have muted, yeah. Yeah, now you can speak.
Hello. So can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Ansari.
Can hear you.
Hello.
We are able to hear you.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ansari, we can hear you. You can go ahead. Mr. Zoeb, you can unmute yourself and ask your query. Mr. Zoeb.
No,
Yeah, good
can
evening,
you hear
sir,
me?
once again.
Yes,
I
we
would
can
like
hear
to
you.
know, is forwarding contract allowed in merchanting trade?
Forward contract, yeah, it is allowed, but again, actually, normally in a merchanting trade, actually, you will not have any what is it called. You will have a natural hedge. Normally, you have a natural hedge, but where actually you feel that there is an exposure, there is an underlying delay or something like that, yes, you can utilize it. But normally, you have a natural hedge in a merchanting trade because you do export.
I just explained you the situation, sir. I have given the advance to my overseas supplier, and in turn, I receive some advance from my customer.
Okay.
So before the shipment takes place, I have to make balance payment to my supplier, and subsequently, once the documents are negotiated, the customer will send me the bill. So there is a in between transitional period. So can I do forward trading?
You can book the forward contract also.
Not a problem. Acha, one more second question. With Afghanistan and Bangladesh, is it allowed?
Mr. Zoeb, I would like to intervene.
I'm sorry. I'll put it to you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this program is exclusively related to forward contract.
No, I'm sorry.
You can send the query to us. We'll take it up.
I'll send it to the few. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'm extremely
Thank
sorry.
you. It was a very good interactive session. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yes, we need to understand few things. I mean to say the participants who are exporters, that as Mr. Shankar Narayanan sir has already briefed it today several times, that if we have booked a forward contract, say in the month of January at say 72, and if today the rate is going on at 75, and if we close and rebook it for a future date, what is going to technically happen, that there will be a cash outflow today, which is a due date when the foreign exchange could not get delivered due to whatever reason. And at a future date, you are again going to gain the loss which you may incur today, that is a due date of the delivery of foreign exchange. What I mean to say, the premium amount which you are going to gain is always going to be significant as compared to the interest which you are going to lose on the exchange loss. What I mean to say, suppose if you have booked at a 72 during January, and if today is 75, and if the due date of forward contract was 15 July, and if you are unable to deliver the foreign exchange, means your foreign buyer is unable to perform the remittance on the due date, that is 15 July, that 3 rupees per dollar would be a loss which you need to incur, which will be an outflow from your account. But if you will again rebook it for a future date, you are going to gain this loss which you are going to incur today. And in case if you get this loss settled through a finance through your AD bank, the interest element which will be getting incurred on this loss would be comparatively minimal as compared to premium which you are going to gain at a future date. And as far as query which was pertaining to EDPMS, which was raised by one of the participants, that is Mr. Zoeb, if I am not wrong, in case if you are going to realize your inward remittance in one AD where you are having a current account, and if you are banking with few other ADs as well, and if some other AD is able to offer you a more competitive foreign exchange conversion rate, then you can anytime get the lodgement of your export bill done over there, subject to your AD is able to obtain other bank AD code approval, which is online nowadays. Earlier it was through a manual mode, and the lodgement and the closure of shipping bill in EDPMS can be performed by the AD where you are going to get this foreign exchange getting converted, and accordingly you can submit your shipment documents over there. Your AD will close your shipping bill in EDPMS. I mean to say the same AD where you are going to get this done, and thereafter the AD can generate EBRC and the same can get uploaded in the DGFT portal. Without taking much of your time now, I request Shri Shailesh Kumar Sahu, Chief Manager, International Department, UCO Bank, to give his vote of thanks. Mr. Shailesh Sahu, you need to unmute, sir.
Hello, Rakesh.
Thank you, Rishi sir. Good evening to everyone.
Very good evening.
We thank all the exporters and the participants who have been patiently listening to our knowledge shared by our GM sir. And I'd like to thank FIO and all the exporters who have given their time for this. And we'd like to thank our DGM sir and GM sir and Sunil Patwari from FIO and Mr. Suman sir from FIO. And special thanks to you, Rishi sir, for arranging this meeting. And this is a very informative webinar. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shailesh.
Thank you, Mr. Rishi, and thank you all the exporters.
Completely my pleasure, sir. But at this juncture, I would like to mention that this meeting was organized by our Eastern Region Kolkata office, and I would like to sincerely thank our regional head of Kolkata, Mr. Suman Mukhopadhyay, and our regional chairman, Eastern Region, Shri Sushil Patwari ji, for taking this good initiative and getting this meeting organized.
I would like to, in fact, really, thanks are due to all of you. Again, Mr. Suman, Mr. Sunil Patwari ji, and Ajay Sahai Saab also. Anytime, he's very cordial and helpful also. And Mr. Mahesh Kyal, all the FIO members for that matter. Mr. Abdullah, he is also our customer also. It's really, a very pleasant experience to connect with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we end the meeting. Thank you very much to everyone.